everyone, and welcome back to the World Championship Series Premier League. Of course, we are in Group B, and we just saw that 4GG moved on to the round of 16, and unfortunately, Sen is out.
Oh, it makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. Of course, it's great for 4GG because I love the guy. I've loved him since StarCraft Brood War. I've also loved Sen since StarCraft Brood War, so it's really bittersweet for me to see one move on and one kind of fall. But if there's one thing that you have to do in your life, it's not play for a GSL, it's not travel all around the world, it's play in front of the Toronto crowd. And that's exactly what 4GG will be doing.
Absolutely. The Canadian fans, I have seen them twice before, and they are so passionate, so fantastic. If you guys have not gotten your tickets yet, the second wave is on sale, so I believe it is right here. Make sure to go to that link and get your tickets if you missed out, because it'll be absolutely fantastic. And we're about to find out who will join 4GG in the round of 16. We have two players that are fighting for that final spot in Group B. It is going to be Stardust and Toodming, a rematch of Game 1, which is interesting on many different levels because on the one hand there is the mind games. Who knows what Stardust has been doing? He's been prepping. Toodming just got off his game against 4GG. What do you think, Returb?
It's interesting. It's definitely a momentum switch for both these guys. They were starting at neutral. Now Stardust, he lost the first one and then won the second one, so he feels good. Whereas Toodming, he just got off of a very crushing loss to 4GG. So I can understand how, Toodming kind of feels bad about it, but at the same time, he's like, I already did it once, let's do it again.
Well, talking about Stardust, we've seen him play only against Zerg players today, and that works out in his favor as he said that he didn't want to play against 4GG, but based off of what you saw in his gameplay against Zergs, what is something that he's done very well and that he should stick to in this last game against Toodming?
I think it just comes down to his overall decision-making, when he actually wants to push forward, how he understands the meta, and he reads his opponent. He shouldn't be going into these coin-flipping situations where he's just doing an all-in. He shouldn't be going into these situations where, he's putting himself in a precarious macro situation where he can't defend all of his bases. Just play completely standard, have no holes, and you will be able to just out-decision make your opponent.
Well, on the flip side, we have Toodming, who's been very impressive today. I think a lot of people who may have not known who he is have been very pleasantly surprised and are now fans of his. He's shown really great gameplay, and it's just a shame that it's come down to these two players that only one of them can move forward, but the dynamic is he beat Stardust earlier on in the day. Do you think that gives him an advantage because he has the confidence knowing he's beaten him before, or do you think it's a disadvantage because now Stardust can learn from his mistakes? Yeah,
it's weird because the Stardust that we saw in the beginning of the day was not the same Stardust that was brought to the Series 2, or the Series 3 rather. And that kind of makes things a little bit weird because it's like I was playing against a different Stardust. This Stardust has a much better goal in mind. And that might lend itself to, honestly, Toodming doing some crazy stuff. Like we saw the hatchery Spinecrawler push in his series against 4GG. I wouldn't be surprised if we have something like that, or, off-the-wall type of plays where he's just trying to take decisive wins and put Stardust on tilt a little bit.
All right, great. We're putting you on the spot. Is it going to be Stardust, who, despite showing that he is immortal today, he has shown that he's not maybe the WCS champion, DreamHack champion he's been before. He still has that under his belt. Whereas Toodming doesn't have all of that, but has been very impressive. Just choose one.
As well as Stardust has been playing in Series number 2, I'm going to give it to Toodming. His accomplishments are really high up there. Even though we haven't seen him that much, he's playing well. He has good decision-making. He took it to a close series with 4GG. I'm going with Toodming.
All right, well, it's time to find out which one of these players will move on to join 4GG in the round of 16. It'll be Nathanius and Huck, so take it away.
Thank you very much, Sue. I am so excited. I'm Nathanius here with me. Here's Huck ready to start off the first series of the day. It's going to be Toodming versus Stardust. What are you thinking for this first match, Huck?
Oh, man.
It does feel like deja vu, though.
Yeah, a little bit, man. Love is in the air. I think Stardust is going to take it this time. That's what I'm going to go for. I mean, I haven't been wrong yet.
Oh,
so,
well,
I mean,
you know what? I
was
going to try to give some sort of devil's advocate argument to try to make things interesting, but if you haven't been wrong,
yeah, Cleopatra over here, man.
I might as well. Oh yes, you had the crystal ball. I forgot.
Yeah,
so I'll disagree with you. So, but it does help that Stardust has the momentum of taking that series against Sen. When honestly, a couple moments it looked like there were definitely places where Sen could have picked it up if he had changed a few things. But Toodming, I still think, and 4GG told me when I talked to him before he played him, he felt that Toodming was a player that, based on all the performance and the history about them, is a stronger player than Sen. So it still could.
I think it's going to be pretty close. That's for sure. I would
That's what I'm
expect a
hoping
2-1. I think it's going to go down to a third map, and I already know what Stardust is going to do on the third map because I helped him plan it.
Oh, really?
And I think he's going to win in a very Huck fashion at that.
Oh.
Are you hyped?
Eight gateways?
Please, let's just get to that third map. That's all I want.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the Ocho build. So we're starting on Cactus Valley. Stardust wanted this map. Why did you tell him to pick this map, Huck?
I mean, I wasn't there when they did the vetoes. I didn't tell him to pick the map, but I don't know. I think he feels comfortable now on this map now that he played it and he won a game on it versus Sen. I would expect him to play pretty macro-oriented for most of the games, except for Expedition Loss, which I'm still hyped for.
All right. Well, that's pretty bold.
I mean, it's
claim,
going to be
man.
horrible. You know, he gets there, he does some Huck build, he loses horribly, and then I just got to hide my
And
shame for
then
the
he
next week.
tweets out #blame Huck.
Yeah.
And then everything just spirals out of control.
I lose all credibility as a caster.
Man, you're going on the record with this one.
Yeah, soon TM, man.
You gotta learn to step toe between the lines.
Yeah, I gotta be less edgy. Just I picked both players. I think they're great, and I think they're gonna do well, and they're gonna show good games.
I'm totally on Toodming's side for this one, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna pick.
He's balling out of control.
Okay. Let's bet dinner? Huh?
What?
Something?
Maybe.
Maybe. Right. Unofficially, but officially.
Unofficially, officially, dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
I like Toodming a lot. I think his form is still really good, and really 4GG I think is a level above everyone else in this group enough that it shouldn't put you down to lose to him, because he made it the furthest out of well, you know, considering that two of these players weren't even, you know, premier contenders last season, he made it way further than Sen. Like, the history alone speaks for itself.
Yeah, of course. I think Toodming went into the match. I mean, obviously you don't want to go into a game thinking like, I'm just going to lose this. But I think he went into it thinking, you know, I'm going to do my best and hopefully I win. But if I don't, I think I can beat the two players that are left, whoever comes.
Well, Toodming did roll the dice a bit against 4GG. Yeah. I don't expect him to do something like that against Stardust. Well, I don't even think that gold bases are that much rolling the dice anymore anyway. But I don't expect to see like a similar type of proxy hatch. And the build that he actually prepared for, that 4GG threw at him, he handled really, really well on Expedition Lost when he played him there. So if he's been paying close attention to the way that Stardust played against Sen, if he plays in any similar manner, I still think that Toodming can make the adjustments necessary to deal with a Stardust who's playing better than he did, you know, this morning.
At the beginning, yes, of course. And that's the biggest thing right now for Toodming. I think Toodming's played pretty consistently, you know, the same skill level he was since the first set, but Stardust has gained a little bit of more momentum, and I think that's what's going to make this a lot closer. What a stylish keyboard. Look at that. It's Halloween now.
Everything about him is stylish.
It's like a rainbow.
Yeah.
Head to toe here.
I imagine that, like, I don't know. I mean, if he could pick colors like other than the regular red and blue, I'm sure he'd be like the one guy that's like lobbying for the purple or playing the teal, you know. Zerg looks pretty weird with teal.
TL? Or
Teal.
Teal? Teal. Yeah, definitely. I think teal's kind of a Terran or Protoss color.
Teal's definitely a Terran color.
Think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
What color do you think Protoss is best in? If Stardust could pick any color, which one would give him the most energy?
Blue, I think, is a strong Protoss color. Like, when I think of Zerg, I think like orange, brown, maybe even
red.
purple.
I think red works for Zerg too.
Yeah. Like, I think it goes back to Brood War
I think
days.
Protoss is really good with green as well.
Let's just keep bringing up Brood War days.
Yeah.
Make
You and
feel
Greetorp, man.
Yeah. Brood War.
I don't know. We talk. Only Brood War I know is Diplomacy 7.7.
I love the use map settings in Brood War.
Yeah.
So we can bond over that.
I was top Greece.
I mean, I love them in
Pennsylvania.
StarCraft 2 too.
Yeah. Well, Diplo never took off, so my programming career kind of spiraled down after that.
No.
But this is still a really important match for these two guys, because especially considering that, you know, Toodming played and qualified for like the Chinese region. You know, this is a part of what he does normally. Stardust had to make the big move to come here and play WCS and, you know, live and practice in America now. This is, I think, this is like a heavier loss for him if he loses than it is for Toodming, who, you know, it would be disappointing for him and, you know, his Chinese fans, but it wouldn't be like the most earth-shattering thing.
Yeah, Stardust has sacrificed a lot. I mean, even I think he missed this first season probably because he was working on his visa. And he had to make that choice then. So this is kind of make or break. I mean, if you get eliminated here, what he doesn't have like really that many other tournaments he's playing in. Where I'm sure in China and even Taiwan or that area in general, there is a lot of smaller tournaments that Toodming has been playing in, or even online cups.
Yeah, it makes it really tricky. Well, yeah, a lot of the Chinese players, especially, you know, they've been playing a lot in the Li Fang Cup, the Kung Fu Cup as well, and I believe most of those tournaments are hosted over in Asia, or at least run by Chinese or Korean organizations. So that's the sort of thing. Like they have regular stuff that they're doing, but Stardust will really have to adjust a lot in the way that he practices and prepares, especially if he were to lose. That would really exacerbate things. So.
Yeah, pressure's on for both of them, but I definitely am going to be pulling for my boy here, Stardust, a little bit more.
Yeah, we're just getting everything sorted out so that we can move in and get the lobby set up for the game. But all other things aside, how do you like Protoss versus Zerg in general right now? Do you feel the direction that it's moved since the Swarmhouse patch is something that's is it gonna be a trend that sticks around? Like most Protoss avoiding Colossi and whatnot?
Yeah, I think slowly but surely we're going to pull away from Colossi just because Vipers are so much more popular now. And then on top of that, the biggest threat other than that would be Mutalisk. It's going to be interesting how fast the Asian players can adapt and bring in this Viper/Infestor style that we saw yesterday. Betrayus is one of the best players I've ever played against that does that style really well, the combination of those two spells. And as we talked about the stylistic things and the differences between Europeans and the Asian players is that they don't really catch on to that meta as quickly, but on top of that, Broodlords being a big thing PvZ late game now as well with the Tempest nerf and potentially, a Broodlord buff to 11 range?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that's a sort of thing that gets things really weird. I mean, I don't really dislike it, to be honest. Gives you a little bit more leeway, a little bit more movement.
Yeah, I think when the patch first hit and the Swarmhosts were basically nerfed in a lot of ways, they're not used as the bread and butter of Zerg playstyle. A lot of Zergs were worried, but I mean, Zergs are still being very successful at all levels, even here or in Korea. And Toodming showing that he can play a very strong style without Swarmhosts.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the thing. Everybody has to be able to do that now, because a lot of Zerg players would have hinged their playstyles on it. I even think we would have seen Betrayus busted out against Bunny in yesterday's games. Just a quick update, guys. We're just there was some sort of hiccup with the way that the veto process was done. Both players have agreed to fix this, so they're just going to take a minute to redo the vetoes really quickly. But
I bet you we still see Expedition Lost in there.
Really?
Yep.
What if it was all a mind game?
For me, like Stardust is mind gaming me?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Stardust mind gamed you. It's like, yeah, because he knew that you would talk about it, and then someone would like message him on Battle.net. It's like, yo, Huck said online, he said, don't play Expedition Lost. Have you thought about the consequences of your actions, Chris, as a caster?
It's too late, man. I thought it was locked in already, but I think it's fine. You
All
won't
right.
see Stardust veto Expedition Lost. We're going to actually shoutcast these vetoes.
Yeah.
All right,
Toodming has re-vetoed Echo.
And he's player A, so now Stardust gets 2 vetoes.
Yep.
And he vetoes...
Inferno Pools and Vonnie Research Station.
No, Expedition Lost vetoed. And Toodming actually vetoes Cactus. So we will see Expedition Lost at some point.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Interesting.
So that means that the last couple of maps that are available, Iron Fortress, Coda, and Expedition Lost. So which one does... Well, do you think Stardust won't pick Expedition Lost if he wants to play last? To do the Huck build.
I don't think he necessarily wants to save it for last, although I would prefer that just for like that intense drama.
Game 3,
yeah.
It's all on the 8 gate.
1-to-1. Can he do it? Oh, Coda first. Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. Stardust picks Coda.
No Expedition Lost, please. Pick Toodming.
Toodming. Expedition Lost. Well, if Stardust loses the first map, I don't know if he's going to put his WCS Season 2...
2-0 win. 2-0 win.
2-0?
That's what it's going to be now. I'm changing it because this Expedition Lost.
Because he has to do it to do the Huck build.
Yeah. So it's going to be a 2-0 win.
You don't think he'll do it if he's down 0-1?
I think he'd still do it if he's... I mean, yeah.
Is it that good?
It's not like game breaking. There's no. It's not going to be like Proxy Tempest Kevin.
Proxy Carrier? No, nothing crazy like that?
No, nothing Kevin like.
No Roddy builds this day?
Unfortunately. Maybe some Roddy Micro, but
yeah.
No
well,
Roddy
I mean,
builds.
that means it's early aggression. If you only have a handful of units. That's the rule for Roddy Micro.
All he needs is 1 unit.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Now I'm as giddy as a kid on Christmas Eve, Huck.
I'm just waiting for like one of the...
You're turning me against my own prediction, because now I want him to be up 1-0, so he does the hook.
I think he's going to do it no matter what. Let's see.
All right. Well, we're getting invited back into the lobby, so we're ready to kick this off. It is going to be on Coda for game number 1.
Yeah.
Did you give him a build for this map or any suggestions? A light inkling?
We talked about his general strategies and the way he should view the game and what he would be good at. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, you're always going to go to a pro player and you never want to tell them what to do. So you say like, oh, I think this is strong, this is weak, this is what you're doing well, this is what you need to work on. But you always want to leave them, you know, it's up to you. Trust in yourself, you know, be confident. Because the worst feeling
the heart
is,
of the cards,
yeah,
etc.
you tell them, hey, do this thing. And then they're like, oh, okay. And they do it and they lose. And then, you know, you're never going to talk again, basically.
Yeah, then it's over.
Yeah. So, but in general, I feel like Stardust is a lot more comfortable than he was at the beginning of the day. He's still disappointed in his play. Even when he beat Sen, he said, you know, I made some mistakes here and there. I don't know why I'm not playing as well as I should be. But all in all, we're going to see much better games, I feel, from him.
Yeah. It seems that just about everybody is in the lobby, so we should be starting up this next game reasonably soon. Big thanks to everybody that's been tuning in online on Twitch, and those of you that have come to the studio here in Burbank. We do have 2 more groups that will be broadcast out of our studio next week, and the countdown has begun. Huck.
Everybody should be cheering for Stardust anyways. He bought pizza for the whole studio.
Oh, that's true.
Pizza GG. Coming back strong.
That's super biased now. He's trying to like force everybody. He's blackmailed the
they
whole
have
audience
to.
into cheering for him.
Pretty much. If it's a 6 poll, you guys gotta like hold up signs that say 6.
Everybody just has to like stamp their feet.
Something. We'll figure
Don't
something
actually
out.
do that.
Yeah, please. Just
That's it. That's it, Huck. They're canning both of us now.
Yep, we're done.
All right. Well, the game has begun. Thank God there's a drone being built. And we are loaded into Coda. In the top left position, we have the blue Protoss player. Teamless, he is Stardust.
That's right. Cheer louder.
Cheer very loud. If you ever want to eat again, in the bottom right position, Sonic has the red Zerg player from Zenith of Origins. He is Toodming.
If you ever want to eat again.
You know, now like one of the players that are watching this in prep for possibly round of 16, he's going to come into the studio next week.
Yeah.
Rhett's going to show up with like steak dinners for everybody. Be like,
Lobster.
Please cheer for me.
There's a cannon rush coming. Just
hey, man, I would cheer. I would cheer extra for that.
It's a good investment, man.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable move. So Pylon's going to be covering the ramp. Does this tell you anything? Maybe he's going to put a gateway on the top?
Yeah, same opening I would assume that he's been doing. And it'll be interesting to see if Toodming's going to play greedy as he has been with going, you know, hatch first or triple hatch first with no gas.
Yeah, Toodming has not been the cheesiest of players. He seems to like playing
all day today. It's been pretty standard.
Yeah, a little more reactive. No,
what
no
besides
crazy.
the last series with the spine rush, I guess.
Yeah, but that seemed more to me like a prepared cheese for that map than it was like I want to throw something crazy
off the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be something he kept pocketed for for like a very important match like that. Yeah, Toodming doesn't strike me as like a guy that like does that like flippantly, you know.
Like the life,
yeah.
Just like
Yeah. Well, I almost imagine that life flips a coin in his head every game. He's like, well, am I early pulling or not? But that, you know, that also gives you strength because anyone that plays versus him, like, you never want to be greedy.
Scared. Yeah.
Like, you're always scared because he could do it at any moment.
Wow, I guess this is like his normal to take this third hatchery, and hopefully Stardust remembers that he did take this third hatchery last time. It doesn't seem like he does, though, unfortunately.
If he had checked for it, he would know very quickly. But, I mean, it's a Nexus into gate. You know, is there really anything he can do to punish this?
No. At this point, no. I mean, he should know as soon as he gets into the main base that he sees what the pull timing is, that he's, you know, probably like, doing like 3 hatch before pull.
No spawning pool. Very few options for what this could be now.
So he'll know either way, and that
Toodming
pretty
knows
much
too now.
It. Yeah, of course. And both of them playing pretty greedily. It's going to be interesting to see if Stardust is going to be willing to do that early aggression that I've been wanting him to do. And that's not the build or anything, so don't worry.
That's not the build.
build.
It's not letting Toodming sit back, amass an insane economy.
Yeah, but like I just feel in general, both Zerg players that he played against, they didn't get the quick gas, and he does have options to punish, you know, at least poke with Stalkers, and then always fall back off of that aggression and take his normal third Nexus that he's been doing anyways.
Yeah, I agree. Stardust is going to open up with a Zealot, and maybe this is already going to lean into it. Do you think he doesn't need it to defend against anything, so the only reason why he could go for it is to push, right?
I guess. I still think, I mean, I liked when he canceled it, to be honest, against Sen. It gave him a little bit quicker to get the second and third gateway up. It gave him a little bit more options as far as like going into the mid game. And I never feel like the Zealot accomplishes that much, to be honest, for Stardust. Plus, he's already done it twice.
Yeah. He did let it finish. Now he can place the next pylon down. So this will open up the door for him to build, you know, his wall.
And he changes his second gateway unit. Usually he's building 2 or 3 stalkers from that gateway, and now he's going actually a sentry.
So do you think he wants this to use for hallucinated scout, or is he trying to bank energy for a possible mid game push?
I'm not really sure. I feel like it's because maybe he's banking a little bit more.
Ooh.
Oh, and there we go. We see
the
Robo.
Robo.
So I guess that is why he wants to save a little bit more minerals to get that Robo out a little bit quicker instead of throwing up that second and third gateway.
So what are you thinking he's going to do with this? Try to go for a Warp Prism play with gateways or Mortals?
Warp Prism would make sense. You think about the game that he played on this map, the first set, where he had that Warp Prism and he only had 1 Sentry and 1 Zealot, but Toodming wasn't prepared for it, you know? He had like a few Zerglings, so maybe he's thinking, you know what, if I go for that push again, he's already making the sentries, they're going to bank energy, get them in a Warp Prism, he's going to have a lot of options.
I mean, Toodming played pretty late on this gas. He's only just now finishing 2 extractors. He doesn't have anything on the way that can really deal with any type of aggression, you know? It's just that handful of Lings that he used to scout. Seeing that Robo without anything, like, there's the fast Warp Prism. Yeah. Can he actually defend this with just slow Lings? Like,
yeah, I mean, it comes down to his micro. Does he know that the Warp Prism is coming? Is he going to have units in place? That's the big question marks here. If he plays as greedily as he did the first set and he only has those 2 Zerglings, hey, this could be a very easy win for Stardust. It all depends.
Yeah, I mean, there's no tumor connecting the main and natural, so like queens moving between can get really weird, of course, but at the same time, if he forces all the units to run up into the main when he sees the Warp Prism, then he could try to make some plays at the third base. He doesn't see the Warp Prism coming, so he doesn't have any units in position to catch this. In fact, he only has 2 Zerglings on the map, Huck.
Yeah, he's building 8 and he's getting speed. He could get lucky with the scout, but it doesn't seem like he's going to. And this could actually do a good amount of damage. And behind this, he's building Immortals too. So he doesn't need game-ending damage. He just needs to do damage.
Well, that ramp is wide open. He's showing the Warp Prism here in the main base, dropping the sentries.
He went for the force field.
Oh, he tries to. Oh, he force fields in to snipe the queen.
Yeah, I feel
it's
like
acceptable, but he could have gotten the ramp.
Yeah, he could have gotten game-ending damage if he just sat on that ramp, warped in 3 more sentries or 3 more zealots. He could have done a lot more damage.
It's a bit surprising. Well, I guess he's more concerned about the follow-up. He's chronoing out Immortals. He's adding on 5 gateways.
This is still going to do good damage just because if he gets in there and if he gets behind a mineral line, he warps in, the minerals would have been a good choke. And Toodming's still droning. I feel like Stardust kind of should have went for the jugular here.
Maybe the idea behind this is to make it look very similar to when they played on this map before, because it was like, oh, I got a Warp Prism in, but I didn't really do anything with it. So, you know, I'm not doing anything crazy. And because of that, like you said, Toodming was only droning. That was when the DTs were showing up. Of course, this time around, it's Immortals, and I think he knows now what's coming his way.
Yeah, Stardust, his build doesn't look so clean still. He's got 1k minerals. I mean, he can warp in a lot because he has so many gateways back at home. And he's starting to, you know, turn them into warp gates. But at the same time, I would have liked to seen this be a little bit more crisper.
Yeah, he's waiting for that pylon now, too. And the Ling counterattack could force some warp-ins back home. He doesn't have a forge, so no cannons there.
And he's still up at 1k minerals. I feel like if he had 10 zealots with that army, this would be a lot scarier. But that being said, 2 Immortals on all these roaches, good force fields.
And the Guardian Shield as well.
And the Guardian Shield, he's going to do a lot of damage. And his wall is holding strong so far. He's warping in 3 Stalkers at home, defending the counterattack.
He is going to kill the Robo, though. And even if he were to have built something else behind that, it's still very tricky because that actually cuts off his ability to follow this up with anything other than just warping in gateway units.
Yeah, and he's going to hold at home. And I don't think any more Zergling run-bys are going to come by, so he is safe. And this push into the natural is really strong. He's already sacking. He's pulling drones. I feel like this is a mistake.
Yeah, he's trying to go for the counter with the roaches, recognizing that the wall's been busted open. He's like, he feels he has to do something, but he doesn't feel that it's possible for him to actually kill this army.
Yeah, Toodming's really, really quick to sacrifice bases, but at home he re-walls. And even then, even if he kills a gateway, he has so much potential to warp in. He should be safe. I feel like it's a lot easier for Protoss.
Without 1k minerals, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to get some zealots at home to defend.
And Toodming fighting drones versus force fields, I mean, it's kind of close, but not that close.
No, I mean, I haven't seen too many fights where the drones win that battle, Hawk.
They could jump. Maybe it was like a Reaper bomb or something at the bottom. I can see the Void Hype. There we go.
Maybe drones should just be able to get the ability to jump. Workers could jump force fields. I'm up for that. When I SCV pull.
So both players taking a lot of damage here, but I feel like the Roaches aren't going to really be able to clean up Stardust's full base, and Stardust is going to absolutely crush these Roaches. Just these 2 Immortals alone against only Roaches.
You're spot on, Hawk. Just all the gateways that he had to warp in from. Like, the Roaches, unless he had like 20 of them to just snowball out of control, but then he would have used them to defend, probably.
Yeah, and the 1K bank that he was saving up for a rainy day actually paid off because he lost, like, what, all of the probes at his natural, but it doesn't really matter because he had 1K and he just warped in on a home.
Yeah, Toodming, there's not too much else he can do in this game. With so much Sentry energy still available and the Warp Prism that he can micro with, he's not really concerned. He can't be stopped. These Mortals just going to go ham, and Stardust takes a commanding supply lead. He still has both of his bases intact. GG is called. Stardust opens up 1-0 over Toodming in the rematch.
You excited?
Oh yeah, that means we get to see the Hawk build now.
Are you excited?
I'm so excited. When you see the problem was that you gave the hint of like 1 unit. I'm like, okay, that makes me think about like the Huck probe. So, but the Huck probe could be a hidden probe for a cannon rush. It could be gates. It could be just the hidden probe for the 8 gate. So
no, he's gonna need.
You're just teasing me.
He's just gonna need 1 unit.
Zealots, you sicko. Oh yeah, I see it in your eyes, Huck. Well, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see what happens in this next game. Of course, you know, this engagement so easy to take when he's able to get this spread of force fields, like, and with all the units that were sent to counterattack.
Yeah, and there's no speedlings really threatening to get on top of the sentries. That's what you get off.
Do you think these speedlings would have been more useful with the army? He could be because he didn't have any zealots with the army. You pointed this out. I think Zerglings could have actually helped.
Yeah, I think the Zerglings back. I mean, he really wasn't going to do any damage there. He can break the wall, but at the same time, you know, when you see that Stardust full walled, he's already committing. This is an all-in. So it's make or break. You either defend it and you win the game, or you don't defend it and you lose. And Toodming kind of wanted to, split it halfway. He wanted to, like, sack the natural but kill Stardust. He didn't have enough units.
Yeah, it's really tricky. So, does it come down to that queen snipe too? How much does that help when he snipes the queen and prevents the inject on the hatchery? You know,
we would have rather seen the ramp, of course. I feel like if he took that ramp and it could have been game right there. He had enough gateways to keep warping in, but at the same time, it was a very thought-out build from Stardust. I think he didn't want to risk it, and he just wanted that small advantage, and then he wanted Toodming to overmake units and then come with the follow-up push, and it worked out for him.
It's really, really, really cool. You've got me all hyped up though. I have to say, we are. I just noticed the lobby we got into is the same map again. So, probably remake the lobby really quickly.
Yeah, man. I need that expedition lost.
I was like, I don't think Coda was supposed to be on the menu for two meals in a row. Plus, I know that of course if we're gonna see that build, it has to be on that map. Apparently,
it does. Well, I mean, it all comes down to they've already played on this map. Stardust did win, but I think we could agree that Toodming did have an advantage. That tricky drone hiding and then coming in a little bit later, building that gold base.
Yeah, and then he sniped the 2 stalkers with the speedlings. Like, that was the game where I felt that Toodming had in the bag at the beginning, or at least had a nice edge at the beginning, and then didn't prepare well against the Warp Prism that Stardust used. It's tricky, man.
It is. It is.
More Zergs gotta spread that creep from their main to their hidden gold bases.
Yeah, and it's gonna be hard for Toodming on this map, I feel, against the build that Stardust is gonna go. I'm gonna talk as vaguely as possible until we get into the actual game, and I know that no words can be spoken to the players.
It's okay. I've already got the smoke signals ready to go. Even though I'm actually on the wrong side for him to be able to see me. Oh well, we're in the lobby. We're ready to get going here. I'm very interested to see if Stardust can actually take this 2L. This is something that actually happens in like a weirdly often amount of times. Usually it's with like a European or American player against a Korean, where they defeat them in the first series and then they end up in the rematch and then they lose.
Happened to me at DreamHack against Daishi.
Daishi, the Korean player.
Yeah, man, these Koreans, these hardcore Korean.
It's happened to I think Major is one guy that it's happened to quite a bit in the last year in WCS, or at least Maybe it was also in 2013. But we'll have to see if Stardust can make his recovery. You've got me all hyped up for this.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm nervous, man. I'm more nervous sitting here watching this than playing it.
All right, well, let's find out. We are just about loaded in. I have noticed that a probe was not immediately sent across the map, so I'm quite disappointed in you, Huck. We are ready to kick off game number 2 between these two players in the final match of the World Championship Series Group B. In the bottom left position, spawning as the red Zerg player, we have Zenith of Origins, Toodming. Was it supposed to be Proxy Gates, Huck?
No.
Okay. Whew. All right, in the top right position, spawning as the blue Protoss player, currently teamless, he is Stardust. It's a cannon rush, isn't it? You know...
So what does that pylon tell you?
I love cheese.
Cheese dust. We're bringing it back. Now, what I'm hoping to see from Toodming here, I guess it's a little too biased as a caster. I'm like coaching one of the players in between games and everything.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh.
It's okay. I told 4GG to build Hellbats, so...
Yeah, close enough.
I mean, not like he wasn't going to already do that. So
hey,
you should build Hellbats.
And then Banshees,
I was
perhaps.
Like, yeah, and you should, 4GG, I think you should build Banshees. That's like,
I'm going to
talk
credit after just tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much coach 4GG to his win today.
Yeah, that's like, I talk to Maru all the time. I'm like, Maru, you should probably 2-Rex this guy. It's like, well, I wasn't really planning on it, but your suggestion has coerced me otherwise.
Dude, like, you get a nice little shout out.
Yeah, I want that.
So look at what's happening here. He's going to delay this probe scout, right? Because he knows what happened last time with that drone that's patrolling. So he wants to hide his probe. Hopefully it won't be seen by the Overlord, but we'll see. And then he's going to come back and scout.
It's pretty...
The mind games, because you know how Toodming always wants to hide that drone, and now Stardust is going to hide his probe. He was supposed to go around, but
that's it's reasonably clever. So he spots the base really quickly. He's going to cannon this?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I've seen like a type of cage cannon rush at the natural on this map. So
well, I mean, even if Toodming wants to pull drones, look how far he has to come to deny that cannon rush.
Oh yeah, that's like a long distance. He's like calling an evac at this point.
Yep.
Dude.
Oh no, don't worry about this drone. He's gonna go check that after he's done cannon rushing the other base, and then he's gonna cannon rush that base.
I mean, do I need to cast this game? Can you just sit here and serenade me with your big Protoss knowledge?
Hopefully he does. This is what we talked about. We'll see.
Because see, like, you know, whenever I play Protoss, I always try to cheese people because I think it's fun.
Yeah, no, this goes out to all the Zerg players, especially I want to give a special shout out to Liquid Red because I know he always loves my cannon rushes. Even Idra. Let's go way back.
Oh yeah.
Share the love.
It's cannon rushing through the centuries with Huck.
He's not going to scout the other gold. Oh, there we go. That's my boy. That's my boy. This is my horse here. Blue. Yeah. So we get a cancel at the initial gold base, but Toodming did throw up the second one, and it doesn't seem like Stardust is actually willing to commit another cannon rush to it. Did he in fact get vision of it? Yes, he did. I think it's an okay call not to cannon rush the second gold base just because he does already have Zerglings out. But all in all, I would say this is a better opener than what Stardust did initially have the first time they played on this map.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's better than losing a couple of units. He at least denied one of the gold bases, and even though he took the other one, he still delayed it, right?
Yeah, and then on top of that, this pylon, it's like in the middle of the map, it's protected by a cannon, and it can act as a staging point to warp in units and do a strong gateway timing perhaps, or a mortal all-in, or just harass in general into the mid-game. And he doesn't necessarily need a warp prism or to bring another probe out.
Oh, these two lings, the hero lings.
They're actually going to catch this probe, and it should run to the safety of this cannon, and Toodming should pull back the Zerglings.
That's so smart. See, I think Toodming himself was just like, oh, yeah, there's a cannon there. Well, now the probe is totally safe. He's able to leave. Look at this queen.
And this queen's going to have to walk pretty far.
He's like warps in like 5 pylons to block the top of the ramp.
Yeah.
That's also my bronze Protoss strategy list, you know.
Those Haas strats, man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is a WCS certified cheese.
Yep. that stamp of approval. And one thing that's kind of unusual is Toodming's actually getting pretty quick speed here. And a layer as well. So we're probably going to see another
Ling Hydra.
Yeah,
probably.
Ling Hydra, I would say. But Stardust is doing a good job of keeping up to date on what Toodming is doing and constantly scouting with this probe. Even though, you know, he's going to have speed soon, he doesn't really have the Zerglings out on the map to deny this probe. Losing those 2 Zerglings was actually pretty big just because you need those.
Yeah, that probe is in general a really
pesky.
big pain.
It's pesky.
Yeah. pesky probes, man.
Actually, he throws on a Roach Warren. Maybe he's expecting some kind of gateway aggression.
What if he's gonna go Roach-nitis? I think it would make sense.
That would be...
He's kind of already out
He's
there.
like in the middle of the map as is, yeah.
It's like, well, you're kind of already out there, not really that necessary. He's getting +1 attack.
And
adding
4
on
more gateways.
Does he? Did you tell him?
Interesting.
Did you tell him to end up at 8? Are we
No,
going for
no.
Ocho?
I didn't tell him Ocho.
We're not going Ocho.
I didn't tell him Ocho. I just said, hey man, go ham.
Okay.
Keep it vague, you know. Leave it up to the player.
Oh, he's going Ocho, Huck. Okay.
I don't know. 7.
No.
6.
I was hoping for one more.
He's building 6 and he has 1.
I was
So
hoping for one more.
It's a 7.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. Well.
I'm sure you would.
I needed the Ocho. But Toodming seems to know.
I think Burrow
he smells it.
Burrow
He
is
smells
so
it.
smart.
Yeah, and he kind of knows. He's going to have +1. He's going to have a lot of gateways. But at the same time, Toodming definitely knows what's up. He sees the pylon. He sees the forge. He sees the gateways. He knows. And he doesn't know about the else.
Oh,
actually,
these overlords. That's huge.
these overlords, yeah, and he's gonna be able to walk between these bases more
He
importantly.
wants to spend money on units, not overlords.
Yeah.
He probably wasn't expecting him to just bypass him entirely, was he?
No, he wasn't, and
Was
that's
it-
why that cannon and that pylon in the middle of the base is so threatening, because you can't just kill the one probe. He already has a pylon up, and at the same time, he has to ferry units from these 2 bases, and it's going to be way too hard for him to constantly reinforce, because he can lose cannons or lose units on either side.
Yeah, this is actually really smooth of him then. Like, with how many roaches are here, couldn't he just back up, kill the rocks, and try to kill the main?
Exactly. He has so many options right now, and he's actually going to do that. What a great idea, Nathaniel. So you could practically coach
Wow.
Stardust yourself. He's going to kill these rocks, and he's just going to move up to the main, and Toodming's sectioned off completely. Even if he has
Aw.
Burrow, what is he going to do? Burrow his drones and just lose everything?
I mean, there's a wall with a cannon. And he's got...
And he can warp in. He's got 7 gateways.
gates.
Yeah.
And all these... Oh, you can just, like, kill all the overlords, too. Like, everything is over here. And the drones are being pulled. There's no units here because they're all across the map.
Toodming's going to counter, but realistically, is he going to do... This is like the first game. Is he going to do game-ending damage? He can burrow all he wants, but at the end of the day, he's still going to lose his layers. He's still going to lose all of his infrastructure.
Yeah, the only thing that's like... Okay, two of the roaches do get in. I guess the problem is, because of the burrow, he does need to get cannons up if he wants to actually kill.
Yeah, he needs to get a robo. He needs to get something, because it's still possible to lose this game.
In a weird roundabout way.
Yeah, I mean, Stardust is in really good position, but Burrow is that ace in the hole for Toodming right now, and he doesn't have enough units at home.
Yeah, it's like warping in units. He's basically hoping that Toodming will make the mistake of not burrowing his roaches as they're about to die.
Like, if he had an observer, this wouldn't be so scary, just because he could always just fight
Bring his army home.
and just fight this army head on. But as of right now, he can't contest.
Yeah,
he can do nothing about that army.
He's actually cranked out a lot more roaches, and since he's lost none of them, I think he's actually gonna do this.
It's looking rough for Stardust right now. It's hard to say just because there are so many roaches, but if he consolidates his powers and gets all the roaches together, I think he could actually kill this Stalker army.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. He could actually just take the army head on now because he's had so much time while doing this.
And he doesn't have detection. You know, it's Toodming has all the he can just burrow. If he's about to lose a roach, if he's about to lose a drone, a queen, anything, he can just burrow and he can save that unit. But Stardust doesn't have that option. He's completely broke. He has no robo. He has no detection. He has, what, 1 cannon at that gold base?
Toodming can't afford to build a hatchery, though, so that's turned into a base trade.
Yeah,
in a weird
Stardust
sort of
needs
way.
to target down. He needs to target down units.
So that he can kill them before he can burrow.
Before they can regenerate, before they can come back. Toodming's being a little sloppy here. All of his roaches are still behind him, and he's targeting down these queens.
Where does he have any of the drones hidden elsewhere? Because he needs to get by an extractor so he can actually build an extractor.
Not sure. He has 7 drones. They're burrowed.
Yeah. Well, he has 1 drone over by the southeast area, but if he loses these 2, he needs to get by. He needs to get by gas.
Oh my God.
He needs to get by gas. He's just going to lose everything. He's not by an extractor. Oh, he's running. He has it queued. He doesn't get there. GG. Well, that was pretty intense. Like
he needed
look
to
how
build
close it was, Huck.
Oh my God, he was running.
That drone was like trying to throw himself on the grenade. He couldn't make it. Stardust with the 2-0.
That's like that caster hype. I can feel it in my bones, man.
See, like the moments that need the hype, bring it. You know, that was he lost by the second it would have taken extra to get that drone.
Skin of his teeth.
I still have it open on my monitor.
I'm staring at it.
Yeah, it's the hero
so
drone.
Close.
all he needed to do was be a little bit closer.
Yeah, but let's go back to the initial moments. You know, that mind trick, letting the drone. You know, first game, Toodming was really smart, had the drone, delayed it, taking the gold base, puts it on patrol, and now Stardust does the same thing. Hides his probe, comes back, cannon rushes it, adds those 7 gates. I mean, I wanted the Ocho, but what can you do, man?
You can't always get the Ocho hug.
I need it.
But if you can win with 7,
we're gonna have to talk after this. Me and Stardust, we're gonna sit
have
down.
a rough chest.
Come on,
You
man.
know what? I think he would have had enough to kill those roaches before they burrowed. If he had the extra unit from the Ocho. To be fair, Robo probably would have.
Yeah, it would have helped. But hey, he made it out.
Yeah, you know, he
Played pretty
won,
well.
which is really all that matters, you know, from his perspective at least. So, gotta be happy with that. He moves on to the round of 16 and be playing in Toronto. Definitely makes coming all the way out here to live in America a bit more worth it, considering that this is why he did it.
Yeah, America.
Yeah, really, really nice. Any final thoughts on the series at all?
I mean, I would have liked to see Toodming, you know, play a better game in the first game. The second game was still very, very close. If he got that extractor, it would have been even closer. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, he showed really good games. I mean, he played well against 4GG. He beat Stardust convincingly the first set. It's a little unfortunate, but you know, that's StarCraft 2.
It's tough. It's tough, man. Let's hear from Stardust as he's moved on in second place out of Group B. He's on the main stage with Smix.
Thank you very much, Nathanius. Congratulations, Stardust, on moving on to the round of 16. It was a very long and difficult journey for you to get here.
I missed WCS Season 1 because visa issue. Then I back to StarCraft 2, like premier scene, with very hard challenge league versus Hawk. Then I almost losing in this group, so it's very lucky I hear with the interview.
Well, based on watching your games today, it felt like from your first match to now, your confidence just seemed to grow more and more and more. And this most recent game, you looked very, very strong. And in that last game, it ended in such a funny way with you eliminating all his bases. Just walk us through your mentality through today.
Before game start, I just don't want to like counter my opponent. I don't want to do that because that make my skills growing a little bit less. It takes time, so I want to prepare for like on scout. I want to scout everything, then I can react better because that's the best process way. So I want to try that in game 1, but I failed like very badly. So I just changing my plan. Okay, I'm not enough for do that, so I just counter my opponent. Then usually foreigner player do same thing at the first game and second game. So I just counter his all over strategy. So it worked very well. So that's why I win.
Well, now you did win. You will be moving on to Toronto. How excited are you? This, as you said last season, you weren't able to even make it into Premier, but now you will be going on to the Season 2 finals. Are we going to be able to see the champion Stardust again in Toronto?
Until Toronto, I have so many times, so I can prepare much better than this time. So you can see the good shape of me, and also it was very tough time because the visa issue make me like big vacation, like a four months vacation. So I don't know how to say, but I just very happy.
All right, well, my last question for you, Stardust. I don't know if you guys know at home, but Stardust actually treated all the fans in Burbank to pizza. And he's actually made it a point to treat all the fans in every country he's played in to pizza. So, Stardust, Toronto, can they expect pizza over there?
I don't think so, because there was so many audience, so I'm not like a million guys. So.
All right, what if you win? What if you win?
Then, yes, of course. If I win, yes, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, then okay.
All right, well, thank you very much, Stardust, and congratulations on making it to the round of 16. And with that, we will conclude the 2 players that will move on to the round of 16 from Group B. It was 4GG and Stardust. Let's hear what the casters have to say of today.
Thanks very much, Sue. Huck, do you really think You think he'll get us pizza too if he wins the whole thing?
Oh, he owes me pizza, man. That's for sure. But I don't know. Toronto. We talked about this actually.
There's going to be so many hyped Canadians there, especially considering how fast the tickets have been selling out as we put more on sale. Like, Stardust is like, well, you know, don't actually. It's like if you get first place, like don't write me the full check. Just write me like 85% of it, and the other just order
pizza,
as much pizza as you possibly can.
Maybe poutine for the Canadian fans. That'd be nice.
They probably put the poutine on pizza. I'm sure that's a thing.
No,
no,
we're not savages up there, man.
All right, well, we're sorry. So that does it here for the first two groups. We're going to be back on Saturday for the next group. We're going to Group C. We've got other awesome players coming in here. I believe Rhett and Marine Lord are in the next group, the two players that immediately come to my mind. But we're going to hear the final thoughts after everything today with Sue at the couch.
Thank you very much, Nathanius. Great Torp. It has been a whirlwind of 2 days, but now we have 4 players already in the top 16. What are your thoughts? Is it the players you expected?
I mean, definitely anybody could have come out of this group. I think 4GG was the favorite overall, but realistically, anybody could have come out with how experienced all these guys are. Yesterday was a fantastic game, or set of games, I should say, with 2 very deserving foreigners making it through. Of course, Petraeus and Bunny were the ones that were able to go to the round of 16. I am ecstatic. I'm elated that these guys have been doing so well.
And based off of all the games that we watched today and yesterday, is there a particular player that impressed you or left a strong impression on you?
You know, it's very unlikely. I think Petraeus is the #1 person. A lot of people don't really expect the underdog to really come through. And I did seed him as 2nd place overall, but he made a very close series against Bunny. For the rest of them, I mean, we kind of expected, you know, the Koreans to pass through in Group B. I think a lot of people did. But Petraeus, I think, really showcased that he's capable for greatness, and I think he can bring that to the round of 16.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm excited to see how he will do in the round of 16. Of course, it will take place in Toronto. If you have not done so already, we do have tickets on sale. So if you want to make it to the live event and see all these players yourselves, be more than welcome to, as the tickets are on sale. Great Torb. It is going to be absolutely amazing. The Canadian fans, you've seen them.
Yeah, they're insane, man. Like they know how to hype, and they know how to just get excited for the games. They're so passionate. They finally get esports in their country, and man, do they not take it for granted.
I definitely are. I am so excited as well. Of course, I want to also take this time to do a shout out to G1 Gaming for all their help. And of course, a thank you to all of you guys that are watching online for tuning in. We will be back next Saturday with groups C and D, so make sure to tune in then at 12 PDT. And until then, from everyone here in Burbank, California, we wish you a good night.
One game away from the crowd.